Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. And yes, we're back with the Vampire Coast, this time up against the Beastmen, and it's a pretty interesting matchup. This is a matchup where the Beastmen, if you go with a traditional kind of gunline type build, Beastmen with their speed and Vanguard can rush you pretty hard and make your day just very, very sad. So instead, I've gone with a bit of a rush build here. We've got double giant enemy crab with the fire necro effects all in on the monsters. Plenty of zombie infantry for support with gunners, handguns, and deckhands, as well as a fleet captain here, Silostra, of course. Going to be rocking a couple spells. We've got Fog of the Damned, pretty good against Beastmen to reduce melee attack and leadership, both very pertinent here. And we've got Vangeist's Revenge as well for AoE damage. Of course, the Damned Knights Errant summon also. Fleet Captain coming in with Justification of Heck, some additional Winds of Magic. We do have the Zombie summon as well. So yeah, for the Beastmen build, you've seen the Cygor rocks being thrown in already. We've got some Harpies. Plenty of Ungor Raiders here. We know they're a great option. Ungor Herd with shields as well, which are a pretty decent pick. Morgar the Shadowgave and a Beastcaster here, and yeah. Right off the bat, we're going to pull up in range with the Fire Necrofex here, and I was talking a little bit about this guy the other day. He's kind of the highlight of this particular video here. He's an ROR that a lot of people might dismiss right off the bat because of his low range, but if you're ever having problems with infantry, rush builds, or just mass infantry builds in general, this guy is the solution, because he basically just deletes all infantry. You can see here already, two Gore Herds with shields basically done for because of the fire there, and also Silostra pushing forward. She's going to eat all of the arrows here. Thankfully, she's thick enough. Crab's got a pretty hard shell there. Yeah. Sons of Goros also charging through. They're going to get some pretty good damage in that front line, but I'll be able to screen out through the zombies, and you can see, again, that fire damage comes in, just blasts a ton of models there. It does count as anti-infantry damage also. You can see here, bonus versus infantry. So against the Harpies, obviously, you'll be hitting for what? 72 melee attack. Absolutely redonkulous. Very, very good here. And keep in mind, he does fire damage and not magic damage. So if we remember, Morgar over here, who's currently engaged on the fleet captain, is weak to fire damage, but he has magic resistance, right? So the fire necrofex, actually, with its anti-infantry and fire, is a good counter for Morgar. One of the few things in the game that can actually kill him very quickly. But here we've got the Damned Knights Errant summon. We're going to move them around, start to break up some of the Beastmen infantry as well. Some nice Vile Tides, though, from Red Legion here, and he's been doing a great job focus firing on my high-value targets. The Fleet Captain and Silostra both getting pretty low. Both are good targets to take out. The Fleet Captain's the most important. If you can get rid of the healing, obviously, then the rest of this build will be much easier to take out. Likewise, Sons of Goros do have magic damage, but here comes Vangeist's Revenge. We're going to rocket down the line there. Just absolutely mulch a full unit of Ungor Raiders. Basically, the Fire Necrofex had dealt with the other. And that's going to be a victory for me. Pretty good stuff. You can see the Sons of Goros do manage to catch my Damned Knights Errant here. This is a really nice pick for them because of that magic damage. They'll be able to cut these young ghosts up very, very quickly. Not to mention the summon's just about to generate anyway. But more Fog of the Damned being cast here to debuff the melee attack, especially of Morgar as he fights against Leviathan. Not that he'll do much damage anyway, but I really just want Silostra to be protected, and likewise it does lead to a terror route for those Ungor Raiders as well. Song of Enthrallment kind of stacks there, and Morgar has 0 melee attack basically between those two effects. Meanwhile, Fire Necrofex continuing to fight here. He's been continuously annoyed and harassed by these Harpies. Red Legion's been doing a pretty decent job trying to keep him from firing too much. Firing, get it? Balance power slightly in the Beastman's favor at this point as the spawn summons are active. A lot of the zombies have been dealt with, looking pretty thin on the ground. We've still got a handful of halberds over here, handful of guns and halberds over here, and the deckhands rushing into combat. The issue for me is this fleet captain was pretty low, managed to pull her back. She was crumbling at one point. She did survive there, and likewise, Silostra also, with that Warp Gaze, now going to be tanking some damage. This Eye of Morsleep's coming through to try and fight in melee, but Silostra, the massive Ungor Raiders, despite the armor, 150 armor, you would think the Ungor Raiders aren't going to do much damage, but with that kind of focus fire, 5 models, right, 5 units times 90 unit models, just an insane volume of fire there, so should be Okay, though, we managed to pull her back. Going to come back around for another bit of a cycle charge here. Taunt as well on the Eye of Morslid, putting it to 0 melee defense. So this other crab can trade pretty well. Silostra's going to actually nope out of there. Don't want her to take too much damage, but thankfully this other crab is bullying the Cygor. In terms of mass, the Cygors actually can get knocked over by the crabs, as you saw there. And yeah, the fleet captain getting danger close as well. We're going to kind of cycle charge her a little bit also. Not that she has much of a charge bonus. 35 it's something. It's not nothing. But at this point, I'm trying to get the fire Necrofex, the Gallows Giant, over here so I can finish off Morgar. That should be able to get this game tied up. Still very close on terms of the balance of power. Also, these zombies going down. But the issue is, I've been able to keep all of my single entities alive. Really nice Vile Tide, though. Just wrecks that summon zombies there. And another Warp Gaze there. Morgar is regenerating all of this time as well, so the more time I kind of wait and let Morgar regenerate, that's going to be better for him. A really nice engagement, too, getting these 2 foot heroes plus Eye of Morslib all on the Rotting Leviathan. That 3-on-1, he would win eventually, but I'm going to come in with Silostra, another Song of Enthrallment there, and the Crab Hero also. Necrofex, again, getting distracted by those Harpies and whatever else is there. It looks like, I think he got a Warp Gaze also. But yeah, eventually the caster's going to rout here from the Terror. We're going to use the Fleet Captain to chase the Shaman off there. And then here it comes, finally. Oh boy, he looks so eager. Oh yeah, just bathing Morgar in flames there. Morgar is already pretty damaged, but look at that hit right there. It does like a quarter of Morgar's HP and damage. Just so good. And he's not done yet. Morgar's going to run. Another hit there does quite a bit of his HP, and he is just barely hanging on to his leadership, running for his life as the Eye of Morslib kind of fights with the Leviathan here. They're actually trading blows, and it would ultimately come down to a bit of RNG. I mean, Eye of Morslib has slightly more weapon strength, right? The Rotting Leviathan has better melee defense, though, so it's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure who would end up winning that fight. Like I said, in a vacuum, it'd be very RNG dependent, I think, but as it is right now, Harpy's continuing to harass the Rotting Leviathan, trying to keep Morgar alive, but you can see the damage that he's taken has done quite a bit to the balance of power. Likewise, we've been able to continue to just bog down these 2 gore herds over here with zombies endlessly. I mean, they've got hundreds of kills probably. Yeah, 152, 101 kills, but oh, they just haven't been able to get at the important units here, and Morgar gets terrified away. Eye of Morslib gets knocked down and also routes, and that's going to be game. So, very well played to Red Legion there, my opponent, and yeah, it was a really fun one. I have to say, the kind of untraditional builds for the Vampire Coast, the non-kind of gunline builds, are ones that I enjoy a little bit more. Not the biggest fan of monster mashes in general, but for some reason, I don't know, I guess just because I like fire units, this Gallows Giant makes me very happy to use. And how about the other Rotting Leviathans? Well, this one, actual unit, getting 97 kills, and some XP chevrons up to 4, actually. 121 for Silostra herself. Zombies just died in droves, which is kind of what you would expect to happen, but on the flip side, Beastmen got lots of kills, which weren't able to quite finish off any of the 4 high-value targets that I had here, which is kind of unfortunate. And the thing is, like, a good counter for this, Red Legion and I were kind of talking in the post-battle, kind of talking about different builds that would potentially counter, which we can go over in a second. But just in general, the Beastmen, it's an interesting matchup. Like, this is a build I would consider that's pretty decent. I mean, you have a line. I'd probably play forward with the Gore Herds and the Ungor Raiders. I mean, playing up close to the Eye of Morslib makes sense if you want to try and use the monster support to fight in melee. But as it was, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. But regardless, the Beastmen having that aggressive kind of Vanguard rush, pretty decent against Coast in general, like I mentioned, that gun line, but this monster thing is pretty good, and you can kind of play into the fact that Beastmen are not likely to bring monsters, which are kind of their counter, right? I was alluding to. So if we go ahead and talk about that. So Beastmen versus Coast. Beastmen, generally, the way that you counter enemy monsters right now is to go with mass kind of monsters yourself, either monstrous infantry or like giants. Obviously very good. Issue, of course, against Vampire Coast is that if they do go with a missile build, these giants are going to be massive liabilities. Cygor, I do like the pick of that at least because you do get, you know, the range component as well to try and throw at zombies, so you can trade at a distance and up close as well. I almost wonder, rather than taking the Eye of Morsley, there was a recent change to the banner rules update, which I don't know. I think it's still there. I'm assuming it's still there. I haven't actually looked in a few days, but if you can, thinking a double Cygor, I think might actually be okay here, because you have two monsters that can fight in melee and can also throw at a distance and pound those zombie guns or bombers or whatever other ranged units. And so that might work out okay. In general, in the past, you guys have seen me use, and I haven't tried this in this particular matchup, but I have had a lot of success with this build in general, just going very wide with monstrous infantry. In addition to Morgar, you get just all of the monstrous infantry summons, right? So, or all the monstrous infantry in general, plus the summons. 7 in total, and then against Vampire Coast, I'd probably take a Shaman on foot with, not Lore of Shadows. We're going to go one with Lore of Beasts with Vile Tide. I love that pick. And then I'm going to get another one that has Lore of Beasts, and we're going to go with just the Manticore summon. Give us additional single entities to fight. The Terror is not really pertinent here, but the disruption and the kind of charge damage of the Manticores can be very important here. And then from there, you know, tanking up on some just basic infantry. These guys will actually trade pretty well with zombies for the most part. Ungor Raiders definitely pretty solid here. If you wanted to go with some mobility, you can maybe trade some of the Ungor Raiders out for some Hounds or something like that, but something like this, I think I've used in just about every matchup, and it's been successful in most matchups. There are a few that I would maybe modify it a little bit against, but I actually haven't tried it against Coast, so maybe that would work out okay. Although I would think Chaos Spawn, I mean, the one kind of good counter for them is mass fire, and so maybe you would run into problems there. Minotaurs with shields, at the very least, have a missile block chance, which is pretty decent in this matchup, definitely, and decent enough melee defense that zombies, I mean, they can't really hit them super effectively. Even just the basic Minotaurs with shields here, at 45 melee defense, it's pretty solid. I mean, you look, even like the Halberds, 14 melee attack with, what is it, 13 bonus versus large? Yeah, they're not even 30. 27 melee attack, even with after the bonus, so Minotaurs even then won't take a ton of damage from these guys, all things considered. And yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.